Coming up on today's Locked On Angels, Noah Syndergaard is an Angel. Now what? We're going to take a look at every perspective. We're going to talk with Locked On Mets. We're going to figure out what needs to be done next to make sure the Angels are competitive in 2022. That's all coming up right now on Locked On Angels.
You are Locked On Angels, your daily Los Angeles Angels podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Locked On Angels, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And thanks for making Locked On Angels your first listen of the day every single day, especially here in the offseason. I'm Steve Granado, your host. You can shoot me a follow over on Twitter at Steve Granado. That's Granado. All right, folks, big news. Big news happened on Tuesday morning. In case you missed it, multiple outlets have confirmed Noah Syndergaard has signed a deal with the Angels. I'm pulling this one here from the LA Times, saying here from Jack Harris, on Tuesday, the team agreed to terms with starting pitcher Noah Syndergaard on a one-year, $21 million deal pending a physical, according to several media reports. Striking deal with the former All-Star to join the rotation for the 2022 season. Pitching, you got it. There it is, right in your face. Angels got pitching. Remember this moment. They did it. They actually were able to convince Noah Syndergaard to come on over. Noah obviously had a qualifying offer from the Mets of $18.4 million. He's able to get a couple extra $1 million, ship out to the West Coast, and Thor is headed to Anaheim to pitch at Angel Stadium and will be at the top of the Angels rotation no matter how it shakes out moving forward. Big news. This is a big day. This is a banner day for the Angels here, especially moving to 2022, and it's signaling now that the Angels are serious. They are serious about contending, and especially here in 2022. I'm going to break down a little bit what I think this kind of means as far as the Angels plan moving forward. I did want to read this. I found this on ESPN. This is from former Angels beat writer Alden Gonzalez. He's now a baseball writer over at ESPN and a baseball reporter. This I'm going to go ahead and read verbatim. It's really interesting, and just kind of it tells you the long journey of how long it took for us to get to this moment. Here's what he had to say. Jose Quintana, Julio Teheran, Matt Harvey, Trevor Cahill, Jesse Chavez, Tin Lincecum. That's a list of free agent starting pitchers the Los Angeles Angels signed over the last 6 years, all in an effort to plug glaring holes on the cheap. They each obtained one-year contracts guaranteeing no more than $11 million and combined for a 6.62 ERA in Angels uniforms. He goes on to say, Angels starting pitchers produced the second fewest Fangraphs wins above replacement during that 6-year window, topping only the group fielded by a Baltimore Orioles team that lost more than 100 games 3 times from 2016 to 2021. Homegrown pitchers didn't develop well enough. Minor trades for arms nearing free agency only helped marginally, and so the Angels languished on, wasting away more of Mike Trout's prime without seemingly learning from their own miscalculations. Well, maybe this isn't a mass calculation. Again, that was coming from Alden Gonzalez of ESPN. He really broke it down well right there. This is a big day, guys. This is a big one. Even for me, like even if this one doesn't necessarily totally work out, we know that Noah Syndergaard has a history of injuries. He hasn't pitched in a full season since 2019. No, there's only 2 innings in the last 2. Yes, I know. We all know, right? We know. But what you are getting, if he is healthy, if he can pitch even 20 starts, best pitcher the Angels have. Best pitcher they got. One of the most talented pitchers in baseball. He has just been unable to stay healthy. And yes, Shohei. I know Shohei. But on just a straight up starter front, a bulldog guy, this is it, man. This is it. This is what you are looking for right here. And the Angels got it. Some reactions to this over on Twitter. Let's go ahead and look at some of them. Trouty chimed in a little bit, didn't really say anything. He got tagged in something and then ended up throwing out some fire emojis. You know, Mike Trout loves it. Mike Trout's been begging for pitching for years, and he's been a little bit more vocal about it over the last couple of months or so, towards the end of the last season. Chris Rodriguez chiming in. Obviously, Chris had some terrible news here recently that he's going to miss the majority of 2022 with some injuries himself. But he just tweeted the hands up emojis. Very excited Chris Rodriguez is. Of course, we're stirring up the rumor mill again. Marcus Stroman checking in, obvious free agent and a target that I have laid out time and time again that the Angels should look at signing. He said, shout out to my brother Noah Syndergaard, one of the hardest working dudes in the game. Excited to watch you deal all future. And again, that stirred up the rumor mill, and I saw Angels fans tagging Stro and replying and trying to get him over here. I keep seeing the picture, the Photoshop of Stroman in an Angels uniform like every 10 minutes, I swear. But yeah, Stro's talking about it, and he also actually went it on and kind of fired at some Yankees fans on Twitter the other day. More coming from this. Mark Gubicza tweeting the eye emojis. Mark Gubicza, color commentator on Bally Sports West. Noah Syndergaard, just exclamation mark at Angels, hashtag Thor, baseball and fire emoji. So Gooby's fired up. I know he's excited. I saw him engaging with Angels fans like he always does. We love Gooby. And hey, open invitation, Gooby, if you ever want to come on Locked On Angels. But yeah, he obviously was talking about it, and then was just tweeting at everybody, really. Like, if you sent a tweet, he even got tagged with us on Locked On Angels. But this is one I wanted to pull that Gooby said, and is going to kind of set up our next conversation here. Gooby said, it's a great day for Halo baseball today. Noah Syndergaard is going to be huge for the team. I expect more action on the pitching front. That came on Tuesday morning. I agree. Things are going to have to happen. I mean, there's holes. There's still holes in the starting rotation. This is not the end-all, be-all. This is a one-year contract. Hopefully it ends up working out for the Angels, but there is still more to do. So don't anticipate that this is the last move for the Angels. If it is, man, things certainly went sour. But this is the first domino to fall. This is going to set the market a little bit. 18.4, not enough for Noah. 21, and apparently there was also other offers on the table. I saw a couple of tweets about that, and it looks like that he wanted to stay in Anaheim, or he wanted to come to Anaheim and maybe potentially stay here. I'm going to talk about that in the last segment a little bit more. But this is huge, man. This is big, and I'm happy for the naysayers who are worried about the injuries. Relax. Let's relax. The Angels did something. They actually went out and got the pitching that we have been screaming about for years. They went out and did it. They're not done, but they did step number one. So take the win when you can get it. Even if, let's go and play the negative side, even if he gets injured, makes 3 starts or something, and it just completely falls apart or something like that, at least right now, the Angels are signaling that they're serious. All right? They outbidded other teams. They won him away. They must have said something right. And that's a good sign for the future. That's a good sign for Angels fans. And just be happy that this happened today. Okay? It's hard to look at it from that scope. It's very easy to be cynical about almost anything. Today, be happy. It's hard to be happy in this world. So be happy today. And then we can figure out what's going to happen next. Noah's coming. Thor is here. He's coming to Anaheim. We're going to have more on this. Obviously, we're going to talk about it all episode long. We have Ryan Finkelstein of Locked On Mets joining us in our second segment. Then we're going to break down what's next, what's going to happen next, and what the Angels' plan is moving forward in our final segment. That's all coming up here in just a second. I love Thanksgiving, all the good food, the treats, the pies, all that stuff. But maybe you're like me and you want a yummy dessert, but that isn't full of calories and sugar. It's the perfect time for Built Bars. It's the new holiday dessert. Feast on something delicious and feel good about it. That pumpkin pie, 300 calories a slice, and it can even go up from there. Most Built Bars are only 130 calories and only 4 grams of sugar with plenty of protein. And you know me, I'm cutting back my sugar. At least I'm trying to. It's been hard since Halloween. Low calorie, low carb, low fat, high protein, and covered in 100% real chocolate. Built is a great option for when you're hungry. And if Thanksgiving isn't coming soon enough, go for a Built Bar. Or maybe even 2. New surprises are coming all month with limited time flavors arriving at Built.com regularly, so check the site often, and especially with Black Friday coming up. Go to Built.com and use promo code LOCKED15 to get 15% off your order. That's promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off at Built.com. Joined here by Ryan Finkelstein of Locked On Mets. Been with Locked On Mets for a couple of years now and has a chance to cover Noah Syndergaard. I wanted to get your take here, Ryan. Thanks for joining us on Locked On Angels. your initial reactions to Noah Syndergaard coming to Anaheim?
Tears. I was upset. This was surprising. I think my first reaction was, wow, he got 21 million from another team. Not that he doesn't deserve that, not that he can't certainly pitch up to that level, but I wasn't sure if there'd be another team that would be willing to not only give him more than the qualifying offer, but give up a draft pick to get Noah Syndergaard. So that was a little bit surprising. But when the Mets first offered the qualifying offer, there was this narrative out there by some that cover the team that this was an overpay. And I said, look, his market would be pretty robust if he didn't have that qualifying offer attached. And we see it right here. The Angels said, look, this is the highest upside arm on the market, maybe outside of, a Max Scherzer. So let's just scoop him up and improve our rotation. Let's spend the money now. I think it is a pretty good gamble for the Angels here.
Noah said at the end of the season that it would be hard for him to see himself not pitching in a Mets uni. I know you're going to talk about this on your episode that comes out on Wednesday as well, but what do you make of that situation now?
Yeah, I think that was why we assumed he would accept the qualifying offer. I just don't think he intended or expected to get an offer better than the qualifying offer. He was kind of campaigning to get that qualifying offer. It seemed like he was ready to come back and pitch on that qualifying offer. I'm sure he really does love the Mets. I'm sure he wanted to be back. I'm sure he brought that $21 million offer to the Mets and said, hey, match it. They declined. So I think the Mets hopefully are going to be going in a different direction and maybe bringing back Marcus Stroman with that money. I'm sure Noah does not make this decision lightly, but at the end of the day, you're talking about getting an extra $2.6 million when you haven't pitched in 2 years. You still have a chance to rebuild your value. You have a chance to play on a team that has a lot of stars and a really nice market. It's definitely a good landing spot for Noah to hopefully rebuild his value and then get, a 9-figure contract next offseason, which is what he's obviously shooting for.
It's been a while since we've seen Noah pitch in a full capacity. He came in at the end of the year, made a couple of outings, and that was about it. Had tons of setbacks with his Tommy John. Let's erase the negative side. We're trying to stay positive here as much as we can. It's been a tough couple of years in Anaheim, so we want to stay as positive as possible. Without those injuries, what are the Angels getting out of Noah Syndergaard in their rotation?
Well, I'll tell you, I recently was looking into Noah Syndergaard, comparing his career to Kevin Gausman, Robbie Ray, Marcus Stroman, the stars atop this market. His career numbers are better than a lot of those guys. His career ERA, his career xFIP. I mean, Robbie Ray strikes out more guys than Noah Syndergaard, but there was very few categories that Noah Syndergaard did not perform better than all those guys. It was just the injury concern. So you're talking about an upside that's right there with all those guys on the market, and you're not paying for a 5 or 6 year deal here where you're locked into one of those guys. And let's be honest, Robbie Ray and Kevin Gausman don't have the longest track record. So it's a really good gamble on Noah. You're talking about a pitcher that still had the velocity. We saw that this year. He wasn't throwing his breaking stuff, but he pitched 2 innings and looked pretty decent, looked a little bit like the Noah we saw. I mean, it was essentially a glorified rehab start at the big league level at the end of a lost season, but the velocity was there. And I think the thing that people don't really appreciate with Noah Syndergaard is when he was a Met, he would have the most dominant games of any of them, even more dominant than Jacob deGrom. I've seen Noah Syndergaard throw a complete game shutout and throw like 91 pitches. I mean, he can have those days where his stuff is just that good that guys can't square him up. And sometimes he won't be getting the strikeouts because guys will be hitting weak contact and put the ball in play. So Noah Syndergaard is a great pitcher when healthy. And if you get a healthy version of him in your rotation next year, the Angels are going to be a lot better.
You brought up Jacob deGrom there, and I kind of want to stick on that point. In his 20s, now 29 years old, will be turning 30 once we hit August in the dog days. But throughout his 20s, he's kind of had to take a back seat in that Mets rotation with Jacob deGrom in front of him and once upon a time with Matt Harvey in front of him. So do you think that Noah Syndergaard is ready to lead a staff, which he might have to do in Anaheim if the Angels can't land a bigger name?
Absolutely. I think 2016 is the perfect example of Noah Syndergaard leading a staff. That year, Jacob deGrom got hurt at the end of the season. The Mets made a playoff push with Noah Syndergaard in his second season as their ace, basically leading a rotation that had him, Bartolo Colon, and not a lot else behind them. It was Robert Gazelman. It was Seth Lugo, guys who eventually ended up in the bullpen. And they made a push, and they were the first wild card team. That season, Noah Syndergaard had an F4 over 6. The only pitcher better that year was Jose Fernandez in all of baseball. So absolutely, if Noah Syndergaard is at his best, he can lead a rotation. I think that is a lot to ask of a pitcher who's coming off 2 years of not pitching. But if he's healthy, why not?
And for you, I know a Mets guy through and through, and that's got to be tough to watch him walk. But on a broader scope for baseball, and I don't want to get into CBA, but broader scope baseball 2022, watching Noah Syndergaard potentially take the ball on opening day with Trout in center, Rendon at third, Walsh at first, Ohtani DHing. I mean, as a baseball fan, what does that do for you?
It's a lot of star power, and it's going to be a lot of fun to see. It's always tough to see one of the former players you're rooting for wearing a different jersey, but I think it would be pretty cool if Noah Syndergaard were to be a big reason that got Mike Trout back into the playoffs, and of course Shohei now being the monster star he is. So it's a star-studded team, and then one thing I'll say is Mets fans will be rooting for Noah Syndergaard. He's not going to a team that is directly competing with the Mets in any capacity, so I think that helps a bit. It's a tough pill to swallow today, but I think by the time the season starts, he's going to have some extra fans that'll follow him out to LA.
And one more before I let you run away. We're going to talk about this in our final segment. But the now what factor of the offseason for the Angels moving forward. Already seen, I hate to be the rumors guy, but I'm going to be the rumors guy here. Stroh already tweeted about it here not too long after Syndergaard signs that contract, or reportedly pending the physical at this point. Do you think that this could be a move that potentially gets Marcus Stroman to Anaheim? I know you had mentioned that maybe they use that money in New York to bring him back to the Big Apple, but do you think maybe Noah's texting Stroman already?
Honestly, I don't think that Noah will get Stroman to Anaheim. I think $150 million will get Stroman to Anaheim.
That's a pretty, that might help.
So I think that's the bigger thing here. He is enjoying his free agency. Marcus Stroman is. He's earned that right to have his free agency. He is going to be setting up a bid from a lot of teams who can use his services. You can look at him as maybe the starting pitcher that can have the most destinations just because the floor is so high with Marcus Stroman. I think you can count on him to make 30-plus starts. He's a guy who has spent a lot of money investing in his body. He's not reliant on hard stuff, so he can age very well. We saw him just pick up a split change this year. You know, he picked it up over the COVID period where he wasn't pitching on the actual mound, and it was a dynamic weapon. So he's going to age really well. Whoever gets Marcus Stroman is going to get a great pitcher. Hopefully that's the Mets, not the Angels, but we'll see what happens.
Hopefully it's the Angels, not the Mets. Ryan Finkelstein, thanks for joining us here today, man. Go check out Locked On Mets for more. Obviously, I know you're going to be covering it and, of course, covering everything that's going on in the offseason here. Thanks for joining us today, Ryan.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
This episode of Locked On Angels is brought to you by BetOnline. We're back and better than ever. A new web interface for the start of basketball season and more props, odds, and lines than ever before. BetOnline remains your number one spot for all the basketball and football action this season. Head to our new updated desktop or mobile website to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use promo code LOCKEDON to receive your bonus. From basketball, football, NHL, boxing, and UFC, all the way to your favorite Vegas casino games. Don't wait to take advantage of all the amazing offers for 2021. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports. BetOnline, where the game starts. Alrighty, back here on Locked On Angels. Steve Granado with you, your first listen of the day. Now what? Okay, now what? The Angels have Noah Syndergaard. What is the next move? What's the plan moving forward? This throws me into a hair of a loop, a little bit. 1 year, 21. This is a gamble, right? This is one of the Angels' gambles that they're going with here. And for me, I'm going, okay, are we all in on 2022 and 2022 only? Or are we trying to open what we talk about a lot, the competitive window? So that's what I'm confused with, at least a little bit here moving forward. So what is the next move for the Angels? As Gooby said, right? Tweeted on Tuesday, expect more. Expect more from the pitching front. Yeah, done. We know that. The Angels are likely to will likely want to add one more impact arm, and then I have pitched maybe even getting an extra middle rotation guy just to fill it out, injuries wise, depth wise, all that kind of stuff. We have laid it out a couple of times here on Locked On Angels throughout the postseason. This tweet is coming here from Jared Timms, who's a great Twitter follow, by the way. If you haven't followed him, great Angels guy, really smart dude. This perfectly lays it out, so this is why I wanted to bring this up. He says, well, here you go. This is Angels rotation right now. 1, Ohtani, 2, Syndergaard, 3, Patrick Sandoval, and the 4, 5, 6. Obviously, the Angels are going to want a 6-man rotation with Ohtani moving forward. This is what their options are right now. Sam Bachman, Jaime Barria, Griffin Canning, Cooper Criswell, Reed Detmers, Diaz, Junk, Naughton, and Suarez. So those are the guys right now that are, looking for that back end. So think of it this way. Marcus Stroman still got to be the one. For me, I'm still all in on Stro. Keeping that competitive window open is huge. As big as possible, you want to be able to jump through as many times as you can. And that's why I'm going Stro. Stro's going to cost money. The Angels have it. All owners have it. Anybody could sign Marcus Stroman if they really wanted to. And for Stroman, that is just going to be, we've talked about it all. We had a full episode on Marcus Stroman, but he is... I still think the best, safest bet moving forward. And he's going to get paid. Good for him. He deserves it. He's a great pitcher, and he's a great ball player, and he's a great mind. And I think the Angels still would be a huge play in it, and I think they have to be. Think of it this way. I'll read those names again. You go Stro, Ohtani, Syndergaard, Sandoval, and then, I don't know, Barria and Suarez and Detmers. I don't know. I just picked a couple of names there. But so there's guys, right? There's guys now. And then people are going to get hurt. Syndergaard goes down. Ohtani can't pitch. He can't pitch one rotation through because he's got a blister. Things like that are going to happen. Then we plug in Junk. Then we plug in Packy Naughton. And you're feeling better, right? You're feeling a little bit better when Packy Naughton is in your number 2. No offense to Packy Naughton. I have high hopes for that kid. I'm excited for that kid. But I feel so much better when he's 5 or 6, or he's, filling in a day. And it's like, hey, can we just get 4 out of Packy? Perfect. I feel great on a getaway day for that. So that's just so much huger. For other free agent targets, obviously, Max Scherzer, Justin Verlander. If the Angels are going all in on 2022, look for those guys. If the Angels are looking to go a little bit longer, you got Robbie Ray, you got Kevin Gausman, you got other guys that are available. So the Angels have options now. They got one lockdown dude, but they still need innings. They need innings eaten, and that's why I'm still hard pushing for Marcus Stroman. He's interested. If the Angels can land him, I feel really good about 2022. That's where I'm at. Let me know which one of these free agents are you more interested in. Of course, we've had the Making the Case series. We'll continue that throughout the offseason as we go deeper and deeper into it. But for my money, Stroh's still the guy. This doesn't change anything. I don't think the Angels need to go all in on 2022 only. I think the competitive window of 3 to 5 years is still totally plausible right now. Totally plausible. So I think that's where the Angels need to be at. Let me know. Shoot me a tweet over on Twitter at Steve Renato or at Locked On Angels, or comment below if you're watching here on YouTube. Of course, you can give us a phone call anytime. I want to hear your reactions. Call me. Give me your reactions right now. How you feeling about Thor coming to Anaheim? 714-409-6396. That's 714-409-6396. I want to hear it all, folks. I want to hear it all. Don't forget to check out my other podcasts while you're still around here. Our Game, examining the Latin contributions to American baseball. We asked the question, who is the Latino Jackie Robinson, and found out that the answer got way more complicated. It's a great off-season listen, an 8-part docuseries, about 4 hours worth of information. And if you're interested in that, if you got a road trip up ahead or you got some holiday travel coming up, why don't you go ahead and subscribe to that? It is linked in the show notes. Of course, my other podcast, if you're looking for something completely different, nothing to do with baseball, movies I should have watched, where my best friend Alex and I are watching all the old movies that we've missed over the years, and seeing if they hold up still. Movies like The Matrix Reloaded, The Matrix, Jaws, I don't know, Thelma and Louise. We've watched a bunch of them. We're like closing in on 50, so it's guaranteed to be a movie for you. So definitely check that out. I want to thank you for making Locked On Angels your first listen of the day. For your second listen, check out Locked On Bets, your daily one-stop shop for all your gambling needs. Locked On Bets, hosted by your boy Q, with expert analysis and insight from Lee Sterling. All right, everybody, that's going to do it for us in today's Locked On Angels. Don't forget, coming up on Thursday MVP announcement. Is Shohei going to win it? We're going to find out. We got more Angels goodness this week, and more news is coming. Don't worry. It's all coming up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and, of course, put on auto downloads on your audio side. All right, guys, we'll talk to you tomorrow with more Angels goodness 5 days a week. For everybody, for everything else, I'm Steve Granado. Later.